Young and the Restless finds Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, dumped by his girlfriend, and I expect that Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, is going to rub his face in it, but she's also about to get rejected as well. We're going to talk about how Kyle might wind up in some twisted rebound with Audra. Young and the Restless, Claire and Kyle kaput. Word is spreading in Genoa City that Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, called it quits with Kyle Abbott. This week, we'll have Audra Charles going back to Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, to plead her case and beg him to take her back. However, I expect Nate is likely gonna reject Audra Charles again this week and tell her no dice. She betrayed him with Kyle and also with a whole pack of lies about Victor Newman, Eric Braden, and the funding for her company. So, why would Nate ever get back with Audra? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This week, we're going to see Kyle crushed because Claire broke up with him. His dad, Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, feels badly for Kyle, but he also understands where Claire is coming from because Kyle Abbott was her very first everything. First kiss, first boyfriend, first relationship, the first time she made love, everything. So, Jack thinks it's understandable that Claire needs some more life experience before she settles down. Meanwhile, Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, found out that Claire broke up with her son by overhearing a conversation between Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, and Claire over at Society. Diane is not happy at all to hear that Claire broke up with Kyle. And she confronts Claire about breaking Kyle's heart. Young and the Restless, Diane spills Claire's plans to Kyle. Later, when Diane saw Kyle at the office, she told him what she overheard and that she heard Claire saying that she was going to be taking a trip to LA. Diane Jenkins was trying to be optimistic and thinks that maybe Claire is just heading to California to get some space, some time to just clear her head. Diane tries to tell Kyle, don't lose hope. Maybe this breakup is just temporary. And Claire is going to think things through and going to come back to you. However, Kyle is very worried that time apart means time for Claire to realize she doesn't really love him, and she never did. We have seen time and again that Kyle just cannot give Claire space when she asked for it. The last time she asked for space, he got a ring and proposed. So, he's just not good at this. He's not patient. Later, Kyle's going to run into Claire in the park. And he brings up her trip to LA. Kyle Abbott puts 2 and 2 together and figures out that Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, is somehow involved because he's from LA. Kyle accuses Claire of dumping him so she can just go off and spend time with Holden and go to California with him. Claire is stunned, but I don't think Kyle Abbott's really far off the mark. Young and the Restless, Claire can't shake Holden. Yeah, he broke Claire's trust and he made some bad decisions, but at the same time, Claire is definitely into Holden. And he is a part of her decision-making process right now. Claire is also very insistent that this breakup is a done deal, at least for now. She did try and tell her mom and grandma that she and Holden Novak are just friends, but after she left, Victoria and Nikki were saying no, we've both heard her talking about Holden. So they know that Claire has some interest in him, and it's not just a casual friendship. Audra Charles and Kyle Abbott, a toxic dance of rejection and revenge. At the same time that Kyle is reeling from being dumped, it looks like Audra is going to get a final dumping from Nate as well. I expect when Audra asked Nate to take her back this week, he's going to give her a Taylor Swift response. We are never ever getting back together. So, that leaves Kyle and Audra both single and hurting and full of rage. Ironically, Kyle blames Audra for his breakup with Claire, and Audra blames Kyle because she lost Nate once and for all. So Kyle and Audra aren't just mad at Claire and Nate. They're also really mad at each other on Young and the Restless. When Audra and Kyle run into each other, I expect them both to salt the wounds because they're each going to know that the other one was dumped. I'm betting as word spreads that Claire dumped Kyle, we're going to see Audra taunting Kyle about it. When Audra finds out Claire went to LA with Holden, oh my goodness, I expect Audra to have some really snarky and insulting things to say about that too. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Young and the Restless, Kyle and Audra still have spark. Audra will probably tell Kyle that Claire left him for someone hotter and better and more loyal. Kyle will have some pretty harsh things to say to Audra, something like, Nate Hastings is a good guy, and he deserves someone better. He does not deserve to be stuck with a disloyal, lying, cheating harpy like Audra. We may see Kyle and Audra just going nuclear on one another. We already saw how bad things can get between Kyle and Audra because they were ripping into each other at the jazz lounge at the GCC the other day after Kyle had been drinking. People were staring. And in the end, Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, and Jack had to intervene to break it up and get them away from each other. So obviously, there's still passion between Kyle and Audra. It's just gone from being like a sizzling, heated passion to hatred, but it could flip back the other way soon. I think an intense and angry confrontation between Audra and Kyle could turn into some hate sex and a revenge rebound that's not about romance, but is about punishing one another for each of them losing the person they love, in his case, Claire. In her case, Nate. Young and the Restless, Audra and Kyle lying to themselves, still hot for each other. We all know there's a very thin line between love and hate. With Kyle and Audra probably tearing into each other soon, those lines might blur. They might start ripping each other's clothes off in addition to ripping into each other. Clearly, there's attraction still there between Audra and Kyle. Even though they can't stand each other, I think they're still hot for each other. When they were rolling around on that bed in France, it was sizzling. They were both really into it. Kyle was, Audra was. If it wasn't for Kyle tapping the brakes, I think they both might have been naked and cheating on the people they claimed to love. Plus, Audra had been flirting up a storm with Kyle in France. And he was flirting right back. Everybody saw it. So, this week, it looks like Audra and Kyle finally realize they have lost Claire and Nate for good. Kyle might end up turning on Audra Charles and raging at her, and I think she'll give Kyle as good as she gets. We may soon see Audra and Kyle having a hateful fling where they fight and then fall into bed. It's like fighting is foreplay for them. There is a whole enemies to lovers vibe that's very common in romance novels and on soap operas. It's one of my favorite tropes. I can see this turning from Kyle and Audra having a secret, dirty fling to actually falling for each other. So, we'll see what happens, but I think there is a lot more in store for Kyle and Audra. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.